Hi guys, thanks for tuning in once more to Riding with Marshall. I am back here in Fort Collins at Interstate Honda to see what they're going to let me ride today. Hopefully something I have never ridden before. Let's see, have I ridden a CRF? I haven't, but I'm not going to do that today. I've ridden Furies, I've ridden Shadows, I've ridden Monkeys, but I have not ridden this. This is a 2023 Honda SCL500. Now, when I reviewed the Honda Rebel 1100, I think I said in that video something about they should make a Scrambler version. Well, as if they heard me, here is one in a 500cc variety. The SCL500 is a nod to the 1960s and 70s CL72 and CL77 bikes, which were also scramblers of ever so much less power. I can tell you that the fuel tank is a 3.2 gallon and should get you about 150 miles. The frame and the motor are about all that it shares with the Rebel 500, as you may know it already. It is still the 471cc engine of the Rebel 500 with a 6-speed transmission. The rear sprocket has an extra tooth, as seen here. They gave it an extra tooth over the Honda Rebel for a little bit more torque. So speaking of torque figures, since the channel and everyone motorcycling likes to look at power figures, we're looking at 46 horsepower and 32 foot-pounds of torque. That's 46 horsepower at 8,500 RPMs, which is quite windy, and 32 pounds of torque at 6,000 RPMs. So with those figures, this is not going to cut into the Africa Twins go everywhere command. What this bike is good for, though, is ergonomics, and we'll play with that a little bit later. But for one thing, you get a full bench seat, and that seat is just over 31 inches tall, unlike the Rebel, which sits nearly on the floor. And you also get bars that come up, yay, with textured hand grips. Even the tank is different than the other Rebel, and it holds 3.2 gallons, as I said. But you get this cool knee kicker, knee grabber, I don't know, what do you want to call it? It's also a nod to the past. So my problem with the Rebel, my only problem with a Honda Rebel, is the ergonomics. I don't like leaning way over on my wrists. I know a lot of you don't either. I think they fixed that. Let's check this out. Can I throw a leg over? Oh, easily. Yes. What do you think? I mean, besides my massive gut, I am flat-footing this bike. And look where the bars are. I can sit up. This is awesome. So I know what you're thinking. Like, but orange though? Really? Orange? Yeah, but look at it in the sunlight. It's a metallic flake orange. Now that makes it pretty. And at least it didn't have red, white, and blue colors like the older Africa Twins. But those are Dakar colors. Yeah, well, this isn't a Dakar bike, so there's that. So, Scrambler, is it going to compete with a Triumph Tiger 1200? No. The Scrambler is an ergonomic style in this case, because as you'll see, the pipes come right underneath, the headers come right underneath the engine, and there's no protection there. So if you bottom it out, I'm sorry. I mean, that's like the cat converter too. It appears to be the cat converter. That could be expensive to replace. I would recommend not bottoming out this bike. You have no metal pan in the front. You do have a non-adjustable front suspension tied to a 19-inch tire, unlike the Rebels. Nissan brakes, and the other thing that makes it not an off-road machine is ABS, and it can't be turned off. However, if you want to take it on some hard pan roads, some dirt roads, you know, places where you might take other bikes, even not of the Scrambler variety, it'll excel at that. The rear tire, 17-inch. In this case, a Dunlop Trail Max Mix Tour, which tread-wise is actually pretty decent. You can chew up some gravel with that. So those header pipes, they come underneath the bike and they follow all the way up here. Personally, I like that a lot better than the other Scrambler models that have that exhaust pipe right under your leg. But like I said, this design kind of compromises any bottom outs you might end up on. Let's go take it for a ride. Okay, so first we put the key in. We put the key in, let's see, where do we put the key? Ah, here we go. We have off and on. We're in neutral. Switch is on. Now, something else I've read on the interweb is that they gave it a little bit throatier sound than the Rebel, than the usual Rebel. So while we warm it up, let's see. Maybe. I mean, we're only playing with 471 cc's here, so what do you expect? But we'll find out as we get underway. It's a brand new bike. Let's let it warm up for a second. Meanwhile, you've got the Rebel round headlights, LEDs of course, LED turn signals. Nothing to worry about. Honda likes to play that game. And by game I mean not a whole lot of maintenance required. And most of us riders love that about Honda. Change the oil, tension the chain, clean the chain, oil the chain. Have the valves adjusted occasionally. Adjust the mirror. Mirror number 2. Front brake. Little bit of a dive, but not much dive. I mean, you can feel it's fairly heavily sprung. Rear brake. Just takes a little bit of toe down. Not bad. Now, where's our clutch release? Now, the clutch is a cable, which means I can adjust it wherever I want it to be. But for the moment, oh, what's my gear? I'm in first gear, of course. Fuel range at the bottom. It's got 32 miles on it already. Good. Well, I'm not the first one putting miles on it. That means I don't have to buy it. Not that that ever means anything. It's just in my history of test riding bikes, I bought quite a few bikes with the very first mile. This is a nice complicated course here. Oh, nice pull for a little 500. Wow. I am impressed. Oh, it's so light and nimble. Wow. Anybody can ride this thing. Watch this guy cut in front of me. Yeah, because why wouldn't you? Aw, sad. There's trucks up ahead. So the LCD, it's not fancy, but it is readable. What did I say about an obstacle course? Okay, standing up is a little too short for me. I can do it with bent knees if I grip the tank. The bars don't come quite up far enough for me to stand up, but I mean, look at the size. It's a Scrambler, it's not a real ADV bike. The bars are wider than a Rebel, and they come up a lot farther, which is where every bike should be. Thank you very much. My elbows are slightly bent, which is what you want. You don't want to be locking your joints when you ride something. It does have a hearty rumble to it in the back. Hardy for a 500. The seat, my first impression of the seat is that it's firm. There obviously is no windshield. This guy is slowing to a crawl with one light. Legal much? Not even close. It is so fun though. I mean, normally a bike this small is too small for me. It feels, you know, normally like the Rebel 500, I feel like I'm riding a mini bike. Not really happy about it. This bike, I'm actually happy about it. I mean, this feels great. Now it's a Scrambler, or so Honda calls it. So what happens when you're on concrete that suddenly turns to dirt? Still pretty smooth. You do want to keep that rear wheel moving to get your maximum amount of sticking to your line, but this is what Honda's intention for this bike is. You get yourself a dirt road, it's just fine. Watch the big bumps. Oh wait, now I'm on concrete. That's good. I can ride on concrete all day. Oh wait, now we're on dirt again. Will this road make up its mind? Taxpayers' money at work. Let's pay parts of it, only the parts that are paid for. It's actually quite smooth. The GoPro isn't going to pick up all the potholes that are in this road. And it's not that bad of a road to begin with, but this is why I'm filming this. This is where this bike belongs. Road, well, concrete roads, and some very tamed dirt roads. Hard pan with a little bit of gravel. You don't want bumps that are so big you're going to bottom out on the cat converter underneath. The grips are nice and grippy, actually. I like the texture of them. They don't feel too thin, they don't feel too thick, they're just right. Spacing on my shoulders is just right. We'll just turn around right here. Braking and downshifting. The brakes are, you know, they're not Brembo's, but they're not bad, and this is a brand new bike, so they're not broken in yet either. Oh, turning it around is so easy. Now I've got a 19-inch tire and a 17-inch tire on the Grey Wolf, but this thing is so light. It's 419 pounds wet, I think.
So who should buy this? Well, if you're planning on riding across the country on the interstates at 80 miles an hour, obviously look elsewhere. But if you live out in the country, you can live in the city too. It'd make a fantastic commuter bike. But if you live out in the country with roads like this, oh, this is just fun. And you see a dirt road and you go, I think I'll take that, see where it goes. This bike is perfect for that. Are you going to take it single tracking with your KTM buddies? No, I really wouldn't do that. And I keep talking about bottoming out the cat converter, but I'll bet there's companies out there right now that are already on the AutoCAD designing an aftermarket muffler for it, an aftermarket header pipe that either redirects it, and I'm sure it'll lose the cat, which will probably lose about, I don't know, 20 pounds overall, maybe, and to give the bike more horsepower as well. You have to remember, motorcycle manufacturers these days are designing all their bikes to meet strict European standards because this bike was initially out in Europe first. And I don't know how many of these have made it to the US. This might be the first one. I don't know. Oh, it's so nice. The shifter is, you can flick it with your toe. I mean, it really isn't a hard shift. Add a little curve to the road, yes. There's a saying among us motorcyclists that says that ringing out a small bike is a lot more fun than casually riding a big one. And they're not wrong. This is a great bike to ring out. And it'll do 80. I'm pretty much pegged and it took a few seconds to get there, but it will do 80 miles an hour. I'm 5'10.5". My inseam has shrunk as I got older. I think I'm down to 31 inches now. And I'm telling you, the ergonomics on this bike, they nailed it out of the park. And I suspect the seat might get hard on like a 2-hour ride. But I'm not spending 2 hours on it, so I can't tell you for sure. But this is like the original bench seat that a lot of us grew up riding. You can sit anywhere on it, although I'm finding that my jeans are gripped really well by its finish. I'm not sliding at all. I'm trying to slide and I can't. And that's a good thing, because you really don't want to slide all over your seat. You want your seat position to be thought out. So I can sit further back, stretch my arms a bit, or I can sit further forward. And now the bars are really close. So I'm telling you that to tell you this, that no matter what your arm length is, a bench seat has it covered. And why we strayed away from this was probably just cost. That, and for some reason everybody likes the looks of cafe racers, which I don't. Racing from one cafe to another is illegal in most cities, and they're also not very comfortable. Now I'm guessing that once I break this seat in, sitting in it for a long time, it would actually be a very nice seat. Once again, I'm flat-footed. Very nice bike. Oh, let's go over the metal plate. Why not? Well, let's ride up the back of the semi. Why not? Oh, we can't. No ramp. Sorry. And we're back at Interstate Honda, the place that lets me ride brand new bikes. So much fun.